And yeah, when you hear that, you know what it means. It's a very, very good afternoon to you. It's Sunday, March 16. Welcome to the CCRP update for this, the 11th episode for 2025. CCRP was created to empower, celebrate, and protect Jamaica's seniors. They offer many benefits. Visit our website at ccrponline.org. CCRP Update is brought to you by J&J Silver Shields, the best choice for auto and property insurance, exclusively for CCRP members. Contact Gallagher Insurance Brokers or J&J for best value and a boatload of benefits. In today's update, we welcome Ms. Marie Powell, clinical dietitian at the Southern Regional Health Authority, part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. She's a registered dietitian and nutritionist, and she'll provide advice on nutrition, especially for seniors. We've got some special needs, and we need to talk about them. Thank God we got her here in the house. We get up to that in a little bit. But first, some family business. Our CCRP Update sponsors J&J offer their amazing Silver Shields plan for auto and property insurance exclusively for CCRP members. The auto plan includes free benefits from the Jamaica Automobile Association with valet service for vehicle registration, fitness, 24-hour roadside assistance, and discounted driver services. CCRP members, if you have not yet renewed your membership, we urge you to do so, as we'll be doing a draw of all valid members to award attractive prizes. Check your email for more information, or call or WhatsApp, same number, call it, WhatsApp it, 876-469-1944, 876-469-1944. If you're over 40 or over, then you're eligible to join the CCRP. Don't 40 or over. When you join CCRP, you open up a world of exciting events and money-saving discounts for only an initial registration fee of $2,500 and an annual renewal of only $2,000. Then you'll have access to discounts of up to 30% from our over 100 discount partners. CCRP also offers 2 health insurance plans underwritten by Sagicor for our members. The CCRP recently welcomed 2 new board directors, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest and Mr. Donovan Wignall. We welcome the guidance of these outstanding Jamaicans. On next week's program, we'll get advice on growing and caring for plants from Mrs. Patrice Carnegie of Nature's Paradise. And she's also a CCRP discount partner. And now to the meat of today's program on the update. Professional advice on best practices in nutrition, especially for seniors. Meet our reliable, knowledgeable, relatable counselor, Ms. Marie Powell, clinical dietitian, SRHA, of the MOWH, right, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, so the Southern Regional Health Authority. She's a registered dietitian and she's a nutritionist. She's, of course, take us on this very, very special journey of considerations that we have for seniors. Miss P, how are you doing, please? Miss P. Miss PC. How are you? Happy?
Thanks for having me. And
yes, good to have you again. Good to have you again. Always good to have you. Yes. Let's start close to the beginning. What are some of the nutritional challenges that we face as we get more mature? We get a little older, we get to the elderly, we keep on going, we're living life to the fullest, but we need to fuel that life to the fullest, don't we?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
How do we fuel the life to the fullest? With food, the right food.
So if we look at it, elderly persons let me say seniors, let me not use the word elderly, tend to be affected by chronic kidney disease or chronic medical condition. So they may have high blood pressure, for example, diabetes, they may have heart disease. So persons are dealing with the non-communicable diseases, and that will impact their quality of life. Yes. So you'd want persons to manage the medical conditions, look at the drugs that they are taking. So the prescription drugs, they need to have discussion with the doctor to see what is it in the medication, if at all, that would affect their appetite, the taste or absorption of other nutrients. Other challenges, yes, could be dental issues, for example, loss of teeth or tooth. They could have ill-fitting dentures. Elderly persons have issues in terms of chewing and swallowing difficulties. Also, with these changes, their gut may be affected. So they may have what we call delayed gastric emptying. So the food takes a
Oh.
longer time to go through the gut. In addition to that, they'll tell you that I have been heartburn, whatever I eating, I have been backflow. Another issue that affects elderly as well is dehydration because the taste buds are not as sharp as before. So persons tend to drink less fluid and they want to crave the sweeter items. So we want to look at inadequate fluid intake, how it would affect, for example, constipation, meaning that they can pass the stool freely, and
Right.
some persons might end up having kidney issues. So those are
Wow.
some of the challenges that seniors face.
So, with all the challenges, I know you can tell us a little bit about some of the strategies. You hinted at some of them, but I know you have a lot more in the bag there of promoting healthy eating, because you can always get around stuff when you talk to people who know what they're talking about. And you're the boss here today. So, tell me, what are some of the ways we can get around the challenges?
Some of the challenges that they face.
Yes.
Because what we want to do is to suggest strategies that is tailored to the specific need. So what I'm giving here now is general information.
Of course.
But in essence, I want to promote healthy aging, and that's what we are interested in. Healthy aging, improve quality of life, and support for well-being. So elderly persons need to be nutrition literate, meaning that they know about the foods that they are eating, they know how to prepare the foods, they know how to read food labels as well. So the nutrition facts, elderly persons need to know what they see and what is it that it means. So nutrition literacy is very important. Also, the foods that they are eating, or the person who is preparing the meal should ensure that they accommodate the dietary restrictions and preferences of these persons. Also, as I said before, you want to encourage adequate fluid intake. When we have our elderly relatives at home, especially the ones who are 74 and over, they have decreased appetite, so they're not eating as much. They eat in small quantities. They tend to prefer liquid diet. So the caregivers need to be observant, or the family members need to observe what is it they are eating, and possibly give consideration to giving multivitamin supplement, or what is called oral clinical nutrition supplement. So if the person has diabetes, for example, they have chronic kidney disease, they have to ensure that the product that they buy can help to manage the condition rather than worsen it. Because most of we have our elderly persons, and it's one product we buy for everybody. But we need to ensure that what is purchased is individualized based on that relative need.
Yes. Here's another component. We live in a religious society, mainly Christian, at least by confession. We're in the period of Lent, the holy season of Lent, and of course, those who are devout in their beliefs and practice will adjust, including not just refraining from certain practices, but also dietary restrictions that might come. How do we treat with that? Fueling our faith while sustaining our bodies.
Okay, so as you mentioned before, these dietary restrictions do happen, so they can have a positive effect as well as a negative effect for the individual, and this is based on the type of restriction and how long that restriction is. So, for example, for someone who is living with diabetes, they have to be mindful of the duration of that absence of meal, because that can actually cause the blood sugar level to get low and cause other problems for them. However, on the flip side, avoiding red meat, persons can concentrate on a vegan diet or a fish-only diet, so that can actually lead to increased intake of essential nutrients. So a plant-based diet is helpful at this point in time. So persons have to be mindful of what is it that they are eating. Is it just vegetables alone, or they are incorporating the vegetables with whether the fish or the peas and beans? At the same time, while we are observing Lent, persons have to remember that if you're not eating red meat in the diet, then it will actually reduce the amount of saturated fat. But at the same time, you will not be getting any B12, that's vitamin B12. So it's possible that persons may need to supplement the diet if it is a plant based only and they are not having fish in the diet. But yes, the absence of red meat is really good because it cut down the amount of bad fat that persons
Yes.
actually eat. And from the peas and beans and the vegetables, they get more fiber, which is important for gut health, help to manage the medical condition, the diabetes, high blood pressure, and so on.
And nuts, but not too much, right?
Right, certainly nuts, but not too much, because nuts tend to be fat.
Right.
But in terms of choices, persons tend to be eating, like for example, almond, pecan, and cashew. So the harder nuts tend to have less fat in them.
Got
So
you.
encourage a handful of nuts as
Yes.
a serving size.
I can hear my doctor voice in my head now, a handful. And Dr. Maxine, she set the hand. So every time she tells me, my head would have been done not to get it. So I always kind of talk to myself when I'm doing it, a handful of nuts. Okay, a handful of nuts. And then you choose slowly. So you really enjoy the experience, right? If you eat too fast, then you will be tempted to eat too much.
Yes.
All right, some simple nutritious meal ideas for older people, senior citizens, and of course it's good for those who are 40 to 60, not that far. I went to bed at 36 and woke up at 61. I'm just kidding. But, it's you really need to have your habits before. I like to tell people it's like landing at a runway. Suppose the plane just a boom out of the sky. That don't make sense. If you're going towards retirement to 60, 40, you should be thinking about it. And you're easing down. So you're adopting these principles. So it's not that much pressure when you are older.
Right, certainly. Because healthy eating behaviors, a lifestyle modification should last a lifetime.
That's
so in terms of food selection for Lent, as I said before, persons want to focus on having like the peas and beans. Yes, so for example, they could use lentils, they could use chickpeas, split peas, black beans, and kidney beans, because those have good sources of protein, high in fiber. Yes. So those are items to choose. And then where the fish is concerned, remember that we have salted fish, we have fresh fish, and there is canned fish. So persons are encouraged to incorporate the sardine, canned mackerel, tuna, and salmon in the diet. It does have to be the fresh variety. It can be the one that is minimally processed. So that's the one that would normally have in the tin.
Right.
So, for example, canned mackerel can be used with cucumber or cabbage. So that would be, they could have it with a ground provision of choice and promoting Eat Jamaican. So we have ground provision, sweet potato, banana, breadfruit, and so on. So they could use those staple foods along with whether it is sardine, tuna, salmon, mackerel, and incorporate vegetables, whether it is cabbage, callaloo, cucumber, and so on, to go along with those items. Where the peas and beans are concerned, you could do, for example, a peas ball. Yes, you can actually make peas punch. In addition to that, you can make peas and rice. But we eat rice and peas. You can have peas and rice, vegetarian, stew peas, whether it's black peas, red peas, or you can use several kinds of hard peas along with the soft one to make a nice salad or to prepare a stew. So essentially, during Lent, persons don't necessarily have to eat red meat. They can use fish or peas and beans.
Yes. Ms. Powell, tell me a little bit about how we can help the caregivers to support this, because there are times when even if the senior, can help himself, you need that kind of support with somebody who is not necessarily in the family, or it could be a caregiver from within the family who can support the older person in maintaining the very best health possible through diet.
I thank you so much for that question, because sometimes what I observe that our senior citizens are neglected. Take, for example, the ones who are living with chronic disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. Most times they'll say to you, like in clinical practice, that I have to eat what is provided at home. So here are these persons who have certain dietary restrictions or dietary changes, and the family members have not adjusted the meals to reflect what is it that the dietary preferences, the needs, as well as the restrictions. So please
Mm-hmm.
pay attention, offer support in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, persons need to respect their food preferences and cultural practices as we're talking about Lent. So even though the
Mm-hmm.
person has a medical condition, we need to get them to eat healthy as well, but we have to pay attention to what is it that they normally eat and try and incorporate it in the diet. We need
Mm-hmm.
to assist them in preparing nutritious, flavorful, and easy to eat meal. We know that the
Mm-hmm.
elderly persons, they lose their taste bud as they age, and they have chronic diseases in most cases. But that does not mean that the meals should be bland and tasteless.
Right.
Everybody in the home should be eating from the same pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should not be
Yes.
cooking a pot for persons who have chronic disease as well as one for the other members who are
Mm-hmm.
deemed to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we need to encourage them to drink fluid because our elderly persons tend to be dehydrated. They are not drinking enough liquid. So the
Mm-hmm.
advice is to give them a bottle with water. Tell them to stick the water right through the day.
Right.
Also, you can add pieces of fruits, for example, pineapple,
Yes.
watermelon. So plain water, cool it to add some flavor. And I know the elderly persons will enjoy that. Make
Definitely.
mealtime enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And then persons don't want to eat alone. When we have company, we tend to eat more. Do you agree with that? And I know the public
And we're
will
also
agree.
more
The
satisfied
listeners
because
will
part of
agree.
the satisfaction is the company.
Definitely so. So elderly persons, they tend not to want to cook when they are
Mm.
alone. And loneliness actually impacts food intake and their overall mental health and well-being. So
Mm-hmm.
family members, please provide support, not just on a Sunday, but then we have to try and provide support right through the week. Ask a neighbor to provide some support.
Mm.
Yes, elderly persons want independence, but sometimes they're at a stage where we
Right.
have to provide that support.
Gotcha.
For persons who serve as caregiver, observe what your patient is eating or the individual is eating. Because when you observe what they are eating, you can look at amounts. What exactly are they eating? If they're not eating much, then you need to inform the primary caregiver, the next of kin, that hey, I am looking about Mr. or Mrs. M, and the person is not he has not been eating. So don't
Yes.
wait until the person has not been eating for 7 days to raise an alarm. If you
Mm.
notice that there are things that they usually like how Jerry loves nuts, and you realize
Mm-hmm.
that he's not interested in the nuts period, not
Right.
interested in the foods that he normally eats, that we
Mm.
need to take attention.
Yes.
So
For real.
pay attention,
Mm.
provide support, yes, respect
Mm.
their food preference, not because they have chronic disease, they should not eat nice and tasty food.
Life
Yeah,
to
you
the
want
fullest.
them to
Life to
eat
the
that
fullest.
same environment.
Yes. 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 Thank you
Yes,
so much. You have given us quite a mouthful, pardon the pun, but a good mouthful, a healthy mouthful, with all the right
okay.
ingredients. Thank you so much. Really,
Yes.
really
Thank
appreciate it.
you for having me. Thank you. Have a wonderful
Okay.
rest of the evening.
And you too. That's Ms.
Thank
Marie
you.
Powell, clinical dietitian, and she serves through the Southern Regional Health Authority of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. She's a registered dietitian and nutritionist. Mm-hmm. Listen, before we leave you until next Sunday, remember, if you are 40 years old or over, we look forward to welcoming you as a full CCRP member. Why wait? Why wait? You get all the benefits from early. And if you think being a senior is not until 60, well, hello, 20 years after treatment, and before you have to experience, listen, 40 years and over. We really look forward to you becoming a member as soon as you possibly can. It's a fabulous community, if I say so. Amazing humans, a wide range of Jamaicans, and you will love the insights and the networks, the exciting events, money-saving discounts, a bag of things. Build the connections, share the experience, keep informed on how to make the best life choices before retirement actually hits. CCRP Update, brought to you by J&GI Silver Shield, the best choice for auto and property insurance exclusively for CCRP members. Contact Gallagher Insurance Brokers or J&GI for best value and a boatload of benefits.